ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Let me continue, no problem. Right. So here, when we discuss diffusion pressure deficit, now let us see, I will give you one numerical problem. Accordingly, we will find out for a placid and turgid cell also. Now, remember very importantly, water movement, if you talk about water movement, so if you take the water movement, where to where the water movement is happening, the water movement always happens from, very important, remember, low dPd to high dPd, low dPd to high dPd, very important. Why it is important? For example, I will try to give you a numerical question here. Let them give them some 2 cells or 3 cells. So, where to where the flow is happening? Low dPd to high dPd. So, what happens here low dPd? Generally, if you talk in terms of water potential, where to where water movement occurs? Higher water potential to where to where it happens? Higher water potential to lower water potential, but it is given in terms of dPd. It is given from low dPd to high dPd. Okay, so low dPd to high dPd. Sir, okay, Nisha. So, what is the important formula you have to remember? If the question is given in terms of water movement, in terms of water potential, then the movement happens from higher water potential to lower water potential. Suppose if the question is given in terms of dPd values, then you have to remember low dPd to high dPd. For example, they will give you the formula like question like this. For cell A, so they have given some OP value as 3 atmosphere and TP value as 1 atmosphere, and they have given for cell B. So they gave OP value is 4. Let us take a bigger value 8 and 1, and here OP value is nothing but something like 17 atmospheric pressure. Here also atmospheric pressure. Something like TP value, it's given as something like minus 15, you can take atmospheric pressure. Okay, so here either you can take minus 15 here. Now, what happens here? Now, in this cell A, let us take this also minus value, let us take something like 3. Let us take something like 3. Okay, low dPd to high dPd, no? So, that if you can make it, and this, let us take this one bigger one, let us take this one a bigger one. Okay, so now let us take cell A, OP value is given as 18 atmosphere, TP is 10 atmosphere. For cell B, OP is 17 atmosphere, TP is minus 15 atmosphere. If it is given positive value, you can calculate directly, but you should not confuse with the negative values. So, I am giving both TP values as negative values. So, now you can take both cell A and you can take cell B here. So, when you take OP is 18 and TP is 10 atmosphere, what is asked in the question? In the question they asked about what is the water movement. Water movement happens from where to where. So, here I am writing 10 atmosphere pressure is TP. Then what is the dPd value for cell A? So, the formula is OP minus TP. So, you can calculate OP is 18 minus of 10. That means 18 plus 10 minus into minus 10, then it will become 28. 28 atmospheric pressure, that is a value for dPd. Let us take 28. dPd value is 28. Come back to cell B. This is B. Now what you have to remember? This is 17 and Tp is equal to minus 15. Then what is the DPD value? OP minus TP. So this is the formula we are applying. Then OP is given it as 7 and TP is given it as minus 15. 17 plus 15. Then what happens here? Something like 20, 10, 11, that is 12. Right, 1, 32. 32 is the value for DPD. So I thought a lot in giving these values because I want to show you B to A. Okay, but finally in the question it has come from A to B only. Okay, I have taken time to give the values to show the movement from B to A. That's why I took some time to give you values. Anyway, so A DPD value is 28 and B DPD value as 32. Now where to where the water movement occurs? Remember, water movement always occurs low DPD to high DPD. Now in this case the water movement occurs from cell A to cell B. So whenever they give the question direction of water movement, it is from cell A to DP. Why? Because cell A has low DPD. How much is the value? 28. Cell B has high DPD, that is 32. So the movement happens from A to B. I hope you got it, right? Similarly, let them give some number of cells, cell A, cell B and cell C, but you have to apply the formula DPD is equal to OP minus TP, and this is a formula you need to apply. For example, if they have given the values for a placid cell, then what is the formula you have to apply? Suppose in the question he has given cell A, these are the values, cell B, these are the values, then directly you can find out values DPD. Suppose if it is in the question, if they mention it as, suppose same thing I am just giving you for a placid cell. So for a placid cell, I am changing the question. In the question, if it is given that for a placid cell, in the question it is given that placid cells are placed in the system, Now let us continue. For cell A, let us take OP value as 15 and TP value as 5, or let us take minus 5, or let us take 5 itself. Now coming to for cell B, let us take OP value as 12 and something called TP value as minus 10. Okay. Now this is the question given, but in the question it is given that placid cells. Then he asked about what is the direction of water movement, or let us take it that even for cell C also, let us take that in some questions 3 cells will be given. For cell C, OP is given it as 8, TP is given it as 2. Okay. Now 3 cells are there. Let us take A, B and C. A here, B here and C here. Now where to where the movement is happening? Let us take for cell A. What is the OP value given here? 15. TP value given it as 5. So what is the formula for a placid cell? Here in the question you have to remember for a placid cell. What is the formula for a placid cell here? Now DPD is equal to OP plus TP, because this is a placid cell. So here what is the value? This 15 plus 5, the DPD value you will get. So here DPD is equal to 20. Now coming to B cell here, OP is 12, TP is 10, minus 10, remember. Now what is the DP? So for cell B I am writing same formula, DPD is equal to OP plus TP, Why? Because all cells are placed in the given system are placid cells. So, for cell B what you will write? 12 plus minus 10, then 12 minus 10, then how much you will get? 2. So, what is the DPD value here? You will get DPD value as 2. Next, for cell C, so I am writing here for cell C. For cell C, same I am writing the formula OP plus TP. So, what are the values for C? OP is equal to 8, TP is equal to 2. So, what is the value you will get? That is 8 plus 2 is equal to 10. So, DPD value is 10. Now, what is the direction of movement here? Now, you can see direction of water movement. Direction of water movement. Where to where it occurs? It always occurs from low DPD to high DPD. It occurs from low DPD to high DPD. So, which is the low DPD here? Low DPD means B here. Next high DPD, low DPD means C here. Next high DPD means A will come here. So, the direction of movement of water is, so water is moving from C to B to C here and again from C to A here. Why? Because B is having low DPD. How much is the value? 2, and A is having high DPD. How much is the value here? A is having high DPD, how much? 20. So, B to C and C to A. Okay, B to C and C to A, that is direction of water movement from B to C, C to A, because B is the lowest DPD, A is the highest DPD. Sometimes you may not find this option at all. Then if not this, then you will find the option as B to A, B to A and B to C. And you can also write C to A. If all three are given, if this is the first option, this is the first option, and this is the second option, this is the third option, then what is correct? All the above. Here I am writing below, here I have written below, but all the above. That means A, first option is also correct, that is B to A. That means water movement also occurs from B to A, because low DPD to high DPD. B to A, either you find directly this option, you find directly this option. If this option is not there, then look for, sometimes the question have other options like B to A, yes, low DPD to high DPD, B to A, correct. First option is correct. B to C, low DPD to high DPD, B to C is correct. Then third option, C to A, C to A, yes, low DPD to high DPD. Then option you have to choose is all the above. All three options are correct. If this option is not there, then the option will be all the above. So, this is how based upon the DPD values you have to calculate. You got it, no? Sometimes they will give you the values like B to A and C to A and some other value, both 1 and 2, then also correct. So, these three values are correct, that is why we are choosing what is called all the above. So, this is how you have to solve numericals based upon DPD values. So, let us continue further with transpiration. Right. Now, if you take what is transpiration, it is nothing but absorption of water from the root system, That means water is taken in large quantity from the root system. Even though it takes some 100% of water from the root system, but in that loss of water happens from stomata, that may be from leaf or may be from stem. Yeah, how much water is lost? Nearly 95% of water is lost by the process called transpiration. By the process called as what? Transpiration. What's the meaning of this? Now here, so here what happens here is, if you take the plant, in that root is the one. Root is giving some, imagine some quantity of water is observed. Let us take that quantity as 100%. 100% of water is given by the root system. So in that 100% water is lost from the stomata. Let us take, this is a leaf. Okay, leaf is having stomata. Through stomata loss of water occurs, and that loss of water itself is called transpiration. That loss of water itself is called transpiration. Now here root is supplying water with the help of root pressure. With the help of root pressure, it lifts the water to some extent. After that, who is taking the water? From here the water is pulled by the pressure created by transpiration due to loss of water. Here it is called transpiration pull. Here what it is called? Transpiration pull. That means transpiration, here loss of water is happened, all cells becomes empty, then they pull the water from down up to here. Who is helping? Root pressure. From here who is pulling the water? Transpiration. That pull is called as transpiration pull. We will talk about transpiration pull later. First of all, if you look at the stomata, even though root is taking 100% of water, loss of water occurs up to 95%. 95% of water is lost by the plant. Then what about how much water is held with the plant? Only 5% of the plant. Plant holds less than 5% of water. Okay, that means less than 5% of the water it utilizes for metabolic processes. Used for metabolic process. That means even though root takes 100% of water, 95% of water is lost by transpiration, and how much water is left within the plant? Plant holds hardly 5%, and in that less than 5% of water used for within the plant for metabolic processes. Now in that, if you take less than 1% or less than 1 to 2%, it is used for less than 1 to 2% of what? 2% of water is used for the process called photosynthesis. You know the major process, major metabolic process, what occurs within the plant is photosynthesis. So much of water it is taken, but everything is lost. Hardly 5% of water is used for metabolic processes. In that 5%, less than 1% or less than 2% of water is used for a major phenomena called as photosynthesis. Now, where does this transpiration occurs? You know that transpiration mainly occurs through stomata, right? So, the transpiration it's been divided into 3 categories. Let us take. Now, before we talk about transpiration, let us talk about what is called transpiration pull. Let us talk about what is called a transpiration pull. I will come back to the same point again. Now, what is transpiration pull? So, I will draw the plant once again. Now, if you take, this is a leaf. On the surface of the leaf, what is present is stomata, right. Now, through stomata, loss of water is taking place, that itself is called as what? Transpiration. Now in this, if you take, So of course down you find root system. So here you can find the root system. Now root also provide the absorption of water and minerals is taken care by root system. But mainly where the transpiration is happening? Transpiration is happening in the leaf mostly, most of the times. Of course stem epidermis also contain stomata, but mostly water loss in huge plants is carried by leaf. Now let us talk about transverse section of the leaf. So let us take here TS of leaf. Let us draw TS of leaf. What you find in the uppermost layer? In the uppermost layer you find as usual epidermis. So this is what is called epidermis. You know, let us talk about dicot leaf. In case of dicot leaf, the mesophyll is differentiated into palisade and spongy. So now you can take, this is nothing but palisade. Let us take, this is nothing but palisade, parenchyma. Parenchyma. So in the center you find vascular bundle. Again you find palisade, parenchyma, and down you find epidermis. So you can see even stomata, but what you can find here is nothing but a spongy tissue. This is what is called a spongy tissue. This is what is called spongy tissue. Now, so here this is, you know, this is called palisade parenchyma, and down you find spongy parenchyma, and together it's called mesophyll. You already studied in the first year anatomy, you know about completely about leaf. So what you find within this, what you find it's called as chloroplast. So here you find chloroplast. Spongy tissue will have more intercellular spaces. Spongy tissue has more intercellular spaces. That's why it's also called as what? Parenchyma. Because spongy tissue has more intercellular spaces, and this is nothing but stomata, and you find what is called lower epidermis. Right? Now what happens? Now within this you find, you know, this xylem is present. Here you find xylem. Right? So here this is also xylem. Then the rest of this fully occupied by phloem. So you know this is vascular bundle, what you find here. Within that you can see distribution of both xylem as well as phloem. So what you call this? This is called a vascular bundle. Right? Now, so come back to the transpiration here. What you find here, there is a loss of water. Now what it said here, root after absorption of water, some pressure is being created. So it lifts the water for a short distance. The distance, for a very short distance on the stem, who will supply the water? That is with the help of what is called root pressure. With the help of what is called root pressure. So what are the things you have to understand? Root pressure is called a pushing pressure. Root pressure is called pushing pressure. That means it lifts the water for a very short distance. It lifts and gives the water to the stem, to the shoot for a very short distance. Root pressure, that's why we call it a positive pressure. And moreover it is positive hydrostatic pressure, and moreover it is considered as pushing pressure. And here who is pulling? Transpiration is happening. Loss of water is called transpiration. Now all the mesophyll cells in the leaf, they got empty because water is lost by the process called transpiration. Now all mesophyll cells which are present here, they become empty. Why mesophyll cells becomes empty? Because there is a loss of water has done because of transpiration. When all cells become empty, they try to take water from the next neighbor cell. And these neighbor cells, when they become empty, they try to take water from the next neighbor cell. Like that, they create a pressure that pressure what is being created here to take the water in upward direction, to take the water in upward direction of water movement is taken care by the pressure created because of what is called transpiration, pressure created by transpiration, and that pull is called transpiration pull. So, upward direction of movement of water occurs by transpiration pull. That means water is moving in upward direction because of the pressure created by empty parenchymatoses. They take large quantity of water from downward direction to upward direction. That happens with the help of what is called transpiration pull. That is why this is called as pulling pressure. So, who is the pushing pressure? Pushing pressure is nothing but our root pressure. Who is the pulling pressure? Pulling pressure is nothing but transpiration pull. So, actually what I said here is, I told you earlier also, gravitational force exists in the soil. What gravity will do? It tries to pull the water downward. At the deeper layers of the soil, what you find? Gravitational force. Gravity, it will try to pull the water in downward direction. If the water has to move in upward direction without gravitational force means you need to apply more pressure within the shoot. See how wonderful nature, how it is happening in the nature. How do you think that upward movement of water occurs in the stem? Actually gravity is pulling down, no. So water will come down. How do you think water goes in upward direction in the plant? Do you think plant has that much stamina to pull the water against gravity? Yes. What is the answer for that? Transpiration pull. Transpiration pull, as all cells become empty here, it applies so much of pressure, and that pressure within the plant it maintains within the xylem and phloem, and that pressure takes the water in large quantity in upward direction. So, upward direction of water movement within the shoot system happens because of transpiration pull. So, how upward movement is happening means pushing pressure and pulling pressure. So, this happens because of, let me write, pushing pressure as well as what we call pulling pressure. So, it is because of combination of both pushing pressure and pulling pressure. Together it is responsible for causing upward directional movement of water. What is a pushing pressure? Nothing but root pressure. What is the pulling pressure? Nothing but transpiration pull. I hope you got it now. Now, let us come back to the inside the shoot system, inside the stem. When root pressure is lifting the water and giving, and transpiration pull taking the enormous water. How does it happen? Now, within the leaf or within the xylem. So, this pulling and pushing are happening where? Within the shoot system. When you take within the shoot system, who are playing a vital role? Xylem. Xylem is called as a non-living conduct. Non-living conduct, because in that all the components of xylem are non-living. What are they? You know it very well. Xylem vessels, xylem tracheids, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Right, and along with the water, as the xylem is carrying water and minerals, along with the water and minerals, even phloem is also carrying what is called food material. We know this. The question comes, how within the shoot, how within the leaf the water movement is happening? This is the question. Okay, how within the stem or how within the leaf the water movement is happening? That is by transpiration pull, right? Let us study now here. Now, if you take in this case, we say that so here let us come to that how transpiration occurs. Now, let us see the transverse section of the leaf. We find epidermis, palisade and sponge, and here we find vascular bundle, and mesophyll is divided, lower epidermis and stomata, right. Now, in this let us study about properties of water. properties of water. When you take the properties of water, what is happening here? Now to the xylem and phloem, this xylem and phloem is connected to what? The xylem and phloem is connected to the shoot system. Is connected to the shoot system. Okay, this we are talking about leaf. This is leaf. It's been connected to the shoot system. Now in the shoot system, you know, xylem tracheids are there, xylem vessels are there, xylem fibers are there, xylem parenchyma. Similarly, phloem also has 4 components. Phloem, what you call sieve tube elements, right, companion cells. Let us take phloem fiber, phloem parenchyma. This is a shoot system. So when water is moving in upward direction, how water is moving in upward direction? When water is moving in upward direction, what happens? Water will be supplied to the xylem and food is supplied to phloem. Food is supplied to phloem. Black cells are nothing but, let us take it as phloem. Then what happens? Whatever water comes to xylem here, from the xylem, water is lost by stomata and by the process called as what? Transpiration. Now at this time what happens here? Here this from the xylem, mesophyll cell is fully filled. After that water enters here, this is fully filled. When water is lost here, if there is a loss of water through stomata, then what happens? Earlier these cells are fully filled and they supply water to stomata. They supply water to stomata. Then after some time what happens here? Even same case happens in spongy also. All cells are fully filled with water and they are lost by stomata. So after some time what happens here? The cells are, all mesophyll cells are fully filled and there is a continuous loss of water by transpiration. Then all water, all mesophyll cells becomes empty. When they become empty here, when all mesophyll cells becomes empty here, then they apply large pressure. They apply a large pressure onto the xylem and phloem. They apply the pressure. That pressure itself is called transpiration pull. That pressure is called as what? A transpiration pull. So all cells, they apply pressure on the xylem and phloem that they need of water. Then this will apply large pressure on this onto the shoot system, so that large quantity of water will be taken in upward direction. So when water is moving from the shoot to mesophyll and losing through stomata, there is a pressure created in the movement. That pressure itself is called transpiration pull. That itself is called pulling force. Itself is called pulling force or pulling pressure, because all mesophyll cells, as they become empty at a time, they pull the water from the shoot system at a time. All mesophyll cells, they apply the pressure, they pull large quantity of water to fill all the cells, again loses water by stomata. This is called a pulling force. Then when water is moving here, then what are the properties of water? When water is moving from the shoot system to the leaf and losing through stomata, what are the properties we can see? First one, here water movement occurs through the two important forces. First one is called cohesive force. Okay, second one is called adhesive force. One second guys. So what you find here? Here you find what is called adhesive force. Then next one is called as high tensile strength. Then high capillarity, and then high surface tension. So you can write simply surface tension. So water movement occurs through these properties. Water movement occurs through these properties. That means when water is moving from the shoot system to the mesophyll cells of the leaf through, and they are losing by transpiration, while movement from shoot system to leaf and leaf of the vascular bundle to mesophyll and losing, in this movement water movement occurs through the properties. These are the properties with which the water movement occurs from the shoot system to the leaf until they lose water by transpiration. Now let us discuss about the properties of water. Now what is the first property here? First property is called cohesive force. What is the first property? The cohesive force. What is that cohesive force here? Now if you look at the cohesive force, so I am writing cohesive force, mutual force of attraction, mutual force of attraction between two similar particles. It's called force of mutual force of attraction between two similar particles. It's called cohesive force. That means when water is moving, this is a water molecule, this is also a water molecule. The force of attraction between these water molecules is called cohesive force. Alright. Coming to adhesive force, that is same mutual force of attraction between two dissimilar particles. Two dissimilar particles, or you can write, or the mutual force of attraction between water and polar surface. Water and polar surface. What's the meaning of this in this case? If you take, now in this case you can take, so here when water is moving up, this is the stem, or you take shoot system. In this what you find? Xylem tracheids are there, for example. What you can take? For example, you can take what you call xylem tracheids. For example, when you take the xylem tracheids here, now what happens in this case? The movement is happening. From where to where the movement is happening here? The movement is happening from the ground, that is from the root to up. So when water is moving here, between two water molecules, this is water, this is water. Between two water molecules, when the force is there, that force we call it as cohesive force. What do you call that force? Cohesive force between two water molecules. Or where do you find two water molecules? This is a water molecule, this is a water molecule. Two water molecules are moving. When two water molecules are moving, the force between two water molecules is called cohesive force. That's the first property, that is mutual force of attraction between two similar particles. Coming to water and the polar surface. Water and the polar surface. So this is a water and this is a polar surface. The force of attraction between the water and polar surface, it's called adhesive force. Adhesive force means what? Surface force. Adhesive force means what? Surface force, or we say two dissimilar particles. Then it is called as what? Cohesive force. Cohesive force, force of attraction between two dissimilar particles, or water and polar surface. This water is different, xylem tracheid is different. Between these two what occurs is called a surface force, is called adhesive force. Then next comes high tensile strength. This is nothing but ability to rise. High pulling force. What is called pulling force or pulling pressure. Ability to rise in high pulling pressure. That means here transpiration is applied. Transpiration is applied. Then that means here same thing I am drawing down. So much of pressure is applied, it's called transpiration. Why? All mesophyll cells are empty. In this case, all mesophyll cells are empty. Even all mesophyll cells are empty, they apply lot of force. That is called transpiration pull. So here water resists to that. Water resists to transpiration pulling force. the ability of the water to resist to that much of pulling force is called, it's called high tensile strength. What is a high tensile strength in this case? Ability to rise in high pulling force, or better you can write ability to resist. Better in short form you can write ability to resist high pulling force. Okay, that means so much of pulling force is applied here. Water shows resistance to that. Even though so much of pressure is applied, water resists that and starts moving in upward direction. That property of water itself is called high tensile strength. Guys, I repeat, ability to resist high pulling force or pressure. So much of pressure is created on water in moving upward direction. That property of water is called high tensile strength. Then, what is next property? High capillarity. Ability to rise in thin, narrow spaces, and these spaces are called capillarities. These spaces are called capillarity. What is that we are studying? High capillarities. Ability to rise in thin, narrow spaces or capillarities. Where do you find this? Suppose if you take tracheids or fibers. So here and there you find some intercellular spaces. Here and there you find some intercellular spaces. These intercellular spaces are very small, but still through these capillaries water movement occurs, and narrow spaces, thin spaces present between tracheids. Suppose this is one tracheid, this is one tracheid. These two are tracheids. In between you find narrow space. This space is called as capillarities. I hope you got it. What is this? This is a tracheid. This is also a tracheid. In between two tracheids you find narrow space. Ability to rise in narrow space is called capillarity. It has high capillarity. What is a capillarities? A thin narrow spaces are called capillarities. Ability to rise in thin narrow spaces, these spaces are called capillarities. Whenever water is moving in the small space, in the small capillarities, that is a property of water which we call high capillarity. Now coming to surface tension. What is the surface tension here? So you know that xylem components are there here. Now xylem conducts are there here, or you can say xylem non-living conducts are there, on which the total surface area, suppose if you take in all these cases, for example you take this is vessel, this is tracheid, this is fiber, this is parenchyma. What the fourth thing I have drawn? Vessel, this is a vessel, tracheid, fiber, parenchyma. So the all four components of xylem, it's fully filled with water. It's fully filled with water. So when it is fully filled with water, it occupies more surface volume ratio, more surface area of the xylem. It's fully filled with water. With that, even though pressure is created, it takes large quantity of water from the root system to aerial parts of the plant. So water is moving in the shoot system, especially in upward direction, from the root to aerial parts of the plant. Why it is happening? Because of the properties of water. What are they? Cohesive force. What are the properties of water which support the water movement in upward direction? So here transpiration, that is transpiration, what are the properties supports here? Cohesive force, that is force of attraction between two similar water molecules. Then what is adhesive force? The force of attraction between the water and the polar surface, or between two dissimilar. So this is water and the polar surface. In between what the force applied is adhesive force. It's called surface force. High tensile strength, ability to resist high pulling pressure. Why? So much, all mesophyll cells are empty. At a time they apply so much of pressure, but still water resists that high pulling pressure. That property is called high tensile strength. High capillarity, what is that? Ability to rise in thin narrow spaces. These spaces are called capillarities. This is a tracheid, this is a trachea, in between you find small narrow space that is called capillaries. In that water movement occurs, that property is called high capillarity. Next, surface tension. Now if you take across the xylem, all non-living conducts are fully filled with water, they are fully filled with water. Surface, when you take all vessel, trachea, fiber, parenchyma, full surface area is being occupied by water. It causes high surface volume ratio and that creates surface tension that makes the water to go in upward directions. All these properties of water, they support upward movement of water that happens by transpiration pull.